The Tomb Kings, they suck because they came out about 6 years ago and haven't really changed at all since. This has caused them to fall behind drastically, at least in terms of campaign mechanics. Their army in battle is still kind of okay though, although that goddamn lore of Nekahara is still absolutely shit. Shouldn't stop us from giving this a good go though and trying to see how far we can get in a campaign with only constructs. We're going to attempt this with High Queen Khalida, as she's one of only 2 lords that starts with a construct in her army. We're going to do this on my usual preferred difficulty, very hard, with a little buff to the stats, but not too much, because I hate when everything becomes unbreakable from too much leadership. So we begin here in kind of the south central of the map, getting rid of all these skeletons and such, because they are not the statues we need. Now, to get more constructs, we need to increase our unit caps for constructs, which is done by constructing buildings for the constructs. So I'm going to build this statuary of Khemri as quickly as possible, but it only gives me +1 Ushabti units. I then get the option of a free hero, and of course I'm going to take the Necrotect and have those in my army so they can heal up the constructs. They're not technically constructs themselves, but they do buff them up pretty heavily and can heal them, so they're kind of essential in a construct-only army. Now with my statuary of Khemri built, I can recruit that 1 unit of Ushabti, which is better than nothing, I guess. But with the big stack of vampires coming my way, is it going to be enough? Well, those vampires besiege me, stopping my recruitment, but luckily I'm able to get a Pyrrhic victory, only losing the garrison. I'll take it. As I'm sat there replenishing though, another vampire army appears in my lands because I am surrounded by this faction on all sides. And they of course come to attack me, but once again I can get that Pyrrhic victory, but I am going to lose my Ushabti Great Bows. I'm going to do it though because I'm nearly able to recruit Ushabti Great Bows so I can replace them soon. But wait, oh, hold on, what's this? Thorax declaring war on me. Obviously, of course, I'm a massive threat to him. It's not like there's a bunch of other factions between me and him that are way bigger of a threat to him than me. A few turns on and this campaign is over because Thorak is now on my doorstep with a full stack. I cannot win this. There we go. Fuck anti-player bias. GG's. This apparently cannot be done on Khalida. But luckily, we are the Tomb Kings. We are undead. We get to try again if we fuck life up the first time. So we're going to try it again with the only other lord that starts with a construct in his army. And for whatever reason, Hetep has been absolutely boned in Warhammer 3 because they took the High Road Titan off him that used to be in his starting army because obviously the Tomb Kings needed to be shitter. But we'll give it a go here. We've got some Necropolis Knights. They're better than a kick in the skeleton balls. We've also got a Light Wizard we can use as an agent. We're starting a war with Greenskins. We're going to have to retreat back and just hide out for now and try and recruit those Ushabti. But it's not long before the Greenskins have got a big old stack and they're coming after us. They are besieging us. We've got a battle that we have to fight. So let's go. The enemy army is exceedingly large, but we've been blessed by the gods with this wonderful map that gives us a choke point perfect for taking on this large Greenskins army. The plan here is to hope they all barrel in towards the choke point group, and then I can flank around with my couple of units of constructs to try and break their leadership. Because that's how you beat the Greenskins, break their leadership. You're not going to beat them in an all-out raw fight. Sadly, only half the Greenskins army comes towards the choke point, but we're able to soften them up nice with missiles and flank around with some chariots we've got, drop a few little sandstorms on their heads, and then eventually get the big flank in from the Ushabti and Necropolis Knights, although they did have to take a goddamn long route to get there. But as planned, we start breaking the Greenskins unit's leadership nice and quick, and that is a victory. Foolishly though, I didn't chase down the Greenskins army and finish it off, but now they've come back with another stack. So we're literally going to repeat the same process again with the same map and the same strategy. We're not quite completely replenished, but they're not quite as big of a stack as they were last time, and we are able to win this again quite comfortably. I try not to repeat my mistake from last time and go after the beaten down army, and I am able to beat them with a Pyrrhic victory auto-resolve. But of course, the Greenskins are the Greenskins, and even though I've just beaten that stack, there's another one right there to replace it to come after me. I am replenished now, but we're going to have the same situation again, although this time I can get a Pyrrhic victory auto-resolve, which I will goddamn take because I'm just going to fight the same battle again otherwise. So maybe now I can make some progress, but there is like half a stack still sat in the one settlement that I might be able to take, and I won't be able to beat that and the garrison with my small army, although it does increase in size a tiny bit as I'm able to get 1 extra Necrotect thanks to technology, and I'm able to get one that increases my unit cap of Sepulchral Stalkers by 2. All I need to do is construct the tier 3 building and we'll get a bunch of them. Eventually though, luck is on our side as some Wood Elves have come along and scared the Greenskins army out of there, and we are going to seize this opportunity, attempting to take that settlement before the Wood Elves do and before the Greenskins get back. And despite all the horrible things I say about elves, they are willing to help us in this fight, and we're gonna have to take that help, which is pretty damn embarrassing. But we can't sit there fighting greenskins and choke points forever, so we've made some progress. Now that half stack of greenskins has gone south for now, which means we can push north and take another settlement. We're just about able to pull off a Pyrrhic victory with our small army, so that's another settlement in the bag, and then onto the last settlement in the province, where I could get a Pyrrhic victory, but I will lose my entire army pretty much, so we gotta fight. We are outnumbered, but it's a lot of goblins, so only the orc boys are really a threat in this one, but the Ushapti should be able to cut their way through them well enough. I'm using Hetep to try and disrupt the missiles so that they can't fire too much, and drop in those sandstorms on the clumps of troops. A lot of goblos. Goblos? Sure, I guess when you blow them around with a sandstorm, they become goblos. We are eventually able to win this fight, although as you can see by the health, we are a little bit close to losing some of our constructs, so I'm being very careful not to lose them. Only the Lord is the real threat left. But with this victory, we finally take a full province, and maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to get a full stack of constructs. Now, I've been buffing them up as much as I can, my Ushapti, getting a nice buff from this technology here. That's helping all of those out. I've used all of Hetep's skill points in buffing up the constructs as well. And the Necrotechs as well. They can add armor and melee attack and stuff by proximity, and of course can heal. So things are coming along well. I've got my Ushapti building upgraded so I can get a unit of great bows as well. Now I just need to get my Horsey building upgraded, and I'll be able to get 4 units of Sepulchral Stalkers. And I'm going to need that quick time because Malekith has just declared war on me about now as well. And not long after that, the son of a bitch sends a full stack my way, although I have about half a stack now, and his stack is a little bit beaten up, as you see. So we should be able to fend him off for now. Over the next turn, he obviously comes at me, and we're able to get a Pyrrhic Victory auto-resolve with the help of the garrison. I decide to take the auto-resolve because I'm not that confident in my construct army yet. I need it a little bit bigger. I am worried about those Dark Elf armor-piercing missiles that'll blast down my constructs, so I'll take this auto for now. Another way to get some unit cap is through the Necrotechs themselves. I can get 1 extra capacity of Sepulchral Stalkers or Necropolis Knights. I'm going to do that one on this Necrotech and do one of these other 2 on another one, Tomb Scorpions or Ushapti. Probably do the Ushapti one next as I don't have any Scorpions. So that's steadily going to increase the size of our construct army. I start to push on Malekith now. I figure I have to. I'm risking that he's going to come down the other way and attack my settlements though. But I can't sit there forever, right? So I'm going to start pushing him. And of course, not long after this, he does start pushing with a big stack towards my settlement. So I bring my boys back to defend. But of course, if you've ever played Warhammer 3 and fought in the northwest of the world, you'll know that Malekith usually dominates. So of course, he's got a second stack coming that's going to retake the settlement I just took off him. But at the same time, I'm going to catch that little bitch Malekith in an ambush that is next to my settlement and give our little construct army its first proper test run. We're going to come at them from both sides. I'm going to send the Ushapti in, buffed up by the Necrotechs, try and keep them healed as well. And then I've got the Necropolis Knights getting all over the enemy artillery and disrupting their ranged units, while the Sepulchral Stalkers come around the back and start blasting their missiles into the asses of these smelly elves. And eventually getting stuck into melee, flanking them, trying to break their leadership with those attacked in the rear penalties. I've got the great bows up on a hill, just raining down on whatever's available to them. And overall, this army seemed to work together pretty well in this kind of situation, destroying the enemy army without taking too much damage ourselves. I then set my sights back north to try and push on the Dark Elves once again. I try setting up another ambush, but it fails this time and they just straight up come at me. I can get a Pyrrhic Victory auto-resolve at the cost of a few Sepulchral Stalkers, and because there's a lot of Blackguard, I'm just going to take that for now, as they are easily reacquired on the next turn, although now we've got to take time to replenish. Although it's not long before I'm pushing north again, and this time going further than I've ever been before to the Eldar Spire. Gonna take that. And then with no armies in sight, I'm going to push on to take the Altar of Ultimate Darkness. And things are looking pretty good at this point. I've expanded my empire, I've taken some territory off Malekith, none of his armies appear to be near my stuff. Maybe it's all going to be okay. No, next turn, there he is with his full stack right outside Hrothgar Spire again. And I am going to have to cheat a little bit on the whole construct only thing, as I have recruited some units to defend there, just skeletons, because the goddamn garrisons are so awful, but it doesn't help at all. So now we've lost a part of our first province, and a couple of armies have appeared up north as well near my main army, so it's starting to look a little bit bleak. I'm going to engage one of those armies though and try to get rid of it. I decide to fight this battle for the funsies. First of all, I have my great bows blasting away at the Blackguard, as they are one of the most dangerous units to my constructs. I position my flanking units, Sepulchral Stalkers, Necropolis Knights, ready to flank around when the time is right. My Ushapti dealing with the front lines, of course. But it's the Dark Shards that I really need to worry about, as they'll be able to blast down my constructs pretty easy. So Sepulchral Stalkers, Necropolis Knights, that's what they're doing. Trying to stop those from firing, keeping on top of them. Blackguard as well, the other dangerous unit that we need to be careful of. Overall, we're able to control those 2 dangerous units and gradually take the army down. After this, I fall back to replenish, but the Dark Elves are having none of it as they come to besiege us. and I'm sure I could win this if I fought it, but I decided to just take the auto-resolve at the expense of one of my necrotechs, but that gets rid of those 2 armies, and DJ Hatep now has his decks, so shit's about to get crazy. I've also got the Regiment of Renowned Sepulchral Stalkers, so my army is growing. Although that Malekith army that was in my territory is still about and is now undoing all my hard work, taking all those settlements that I took off them. I'm going to do some more cheating though and come and reclaim Hrothgar Spire, just so I can at least maintain that 1 full province at least. Otherwise, I don't think there's any hope of getting at least a full construct army. With things looking pretty bleak for my push in the north, I decide to just go for the big guns of the Dark Elves and take Nagarond. They've got a pretty big army there and of course the defenses, but I think we should be able to take them. At least until I remember the gates are much tougher now and that Ushabti are utterly terrible. Why? Because even though they're a monstrous infantry, they do not have siege attacker, unlike all other monstrous infantry. Trolls, Rat Ogres, Minotaurs, Kroxigors, they've all got it. But for some reason in 6 years, Ushabti still not allowed it. But after 6 years of hacking away at the gates, we're eventually inside the settlement. On both sides, I'm attacking from 2 angles, just brute forcing myself into and all over the settlement. I'm kind of trying to win in both ways, whichever comes first. I'm going for the victory objectives, but also just trying to kill off all their units at the same time, so we get it done in the end. We do lose a fair few units, but we've taken away Malekith's strongest settlement. But honestly, this was just kind of a way to end the campaign because I feel like it's going nowhere. This army isn't strong enough to steamroll quickly like it needs to. Malekith is too strong of an opponent because he just spawns up armies in the time it takes me to replenish. He comes back here and takes Hrothgar Spire again, so now I've lost that again. And it's all just starting to feel pretty futile and like I can't get anywhere. Malekith is just too strong. He has too many armies. They rebuild super quickly, and my army just isn't strong enough to compete with that. All the progress I make is just quickly undone, so we're not getting anywhere. I'm going to call it a day, although I am about to start recruiting some cool units, Scorpions, Bone Giants, but by the time I've recruited those units, Malekith will have probably wiped out the rest of my settlements, so I think mostly what I've learned here is how far the Tomb Kings are behind compared to other factions. I know obviously they're behind, but they are really behind in terms of campaign mechanics. The restriction on constructs is so limiting, like only +1 Ushabti for an entire building dedicated to them. It's just not enough, and especially as Ushabti aren't even that great. They have 23 base melee attack. 23! That's less than Night Goblins. Look at the size of that thing and its weapon. How the hell does it miss so much? It doesn't make any sense to me. They shouldn't have to rely so heavily on necrotechs to have any kind of decent stat. And of course, I'm not playing the Tomb Kings how they're meant to be played. You're not supposed to bring an entire army of constructs. But if I do this with the Beastmen and only play Minotaurs, that army is absolutely terrifying. And a lot of that coming from Lord skill point buffs, which the Tomb Kings don't really seem to get that much for constructs. So yeah, I think the Tomb Kings are definitely due a serious overhaul. Probably won't be for a while though, given the other factions that are getting buffs on the horizon. Hopefully they do, and maybe we'll revisit this campaign when they are a little bit more buffed up. I hope you've enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. Thanks to all the patrons who support this channel. If you want some more of this, here's those Minotaurs, or here's some doggos. Your choice. I'll see you in the future.